Okay, so I'm going to show you how to actually create and modify the forms on your website. So this is a quick introduction video to the form module. The form module does a whole bunch of stuff and it can get super advanced, but you can get into that a little bit later. This is just an introduction video on basically how to create a simple form, show you the interface and how it all works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a page that actually has a form. So I'm going to go to the request a quote page under Home Care Services. And this is the form that I've created. Super simple form, name, email, number of bathrooms, phone, questions and comments. I'm going to put another field in here, which is address, just to show you how to modify it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this page, and then we're going to go to edit page. And we can see that the page has this short tag, which defines which form that we're using. I'll come back to this in a minute. For now, I'm going to show you basically the forms module. So if we go to forms, which is on the left-hand side, and we click under forms, we see we have two forms here. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go through and edit one, and that'll show you how it works after it's built, and then I'll show you how to create a new one. So the first one is we're going to go edit the home care quote, and it's going to take us to the interface. Now on the interface, we have these buttons across the top. We have the form editor, we have the form settings, notification, entries, and preview. Form editor and form settings are pretty much the same page anyways. When you click on form settings, it gives you the title. It allows you to change it. Title, that's the name of the form, so make it something that's easy to remember. When you're inserting the form into a page, you can choose whether to show this field or not. Also, the same is true for description. When you're inserting it, you can decide whether you want to put the description in there or not, which will show up at the top of the form. One thing I like to do is I like to change the description placement to be above inputs instead of below. I just think it makes more sense than putting it underneath, so above inputs. There's some advanced tabs in here. We're not really going to get into that. Confirmation. This is the page that comes up after you submit the form. So you can either write in a short message, thank you for contacting us, we'll get in touch with you shortly, or you can choose a page, and then you can select a page from the WordPress plugin, or you can redirect it to another URL if you have another page you want to send it to. For now, we're going to stay with text. It keeps it nice and simple. Whenever you're done modifying a module, you can click the close button and it'll shrink it back up. That doesn't save it. In order to save it, you have to hit the update form, which is over here on the right. So we've got some simple fields here. We've got name, email, bathrooms. When you click on one of these, it'll expand and it'll give you the options for each one. So if you wanted to say make it required, you can click required. Let's just do that actually under email. We're going to change that to required. So it'll put an asterisk there. One of the other things it does is because it stores everything in a database, you can actually set it to no duplicates so that people who are signing up can only sign up once, depending on the situation that you want. Enable email confirmation. This is going to send out an email to them, and then they're going to need to click on it to confirm to come back. So that's another option if you want it to be there. Advanced, some different styling logic, but that's all been done for you, so you don't have to worry about it. 99% of the time, you're just going to be under properties. So I'm going to close that back up. So say we wanted to add another item. We click on the item that we want to put it underneath. So email field, this is the one we want. And then I'm going to go over here to the right. Now these are all the different types of fields you have. You have standard fields, which are pretty much blank fields that have either single line, paragraphs, drop downs, that sort of checkboxes, that sort of thing. Underneath it, you have custom fields or advanced fields. These are pre-built ones for name, date, time, website, file uploader, things that you wouldn't do just with regular forms. Then it can get really complicated with post fields. Don't worry about these. You're probably not going to be using these, as well as pricing fields. You can do pricing, quantity if you were doing an order form and stuff like that. This comes more into play if you start integrating Gravity Forms with a shopping cart or some form or some sort of credit card processor, but we're not doing that, so we don't need those. So the only one we're going to go to is we're going to go to Advanced Field, and I'm going to go to Address. So I'm going to plug address in here, and it's going to add it down below. So what we can do is we can actually drag and drop these, and we can move them to where we want, because I actually want address to be below email. So I just click and grab on the header part of it, move it up, and away we go. If I want to make changes to it, I can hit edit, and it'll open up the information. Say I wanted to hide, I wanted to make it Canadian only. Say I wanted to select the default province for the person. I could even hide the province field, or I could even hide the second address field, because sometimes you don't need those extra fields. We can also, if we're international, it gives us the option to hide the country field, so we don't need to select that as well. When we're done everything, we hit the update form on the right, and it'll automatically update it on our website. We don't actually want this form on here, so we're going to delete it by hitting the delete button, and it's going to go away. hit OK, and away it goes. So after you're finished creating the form or updating it to the way you want to set up the notifications. Now the notifications are who gets informed when the form gets filled out. So we'll go over to notifications. It'll ask us if we want to save it. I'm going to stay on this page and hit update. Yes, I want to save it. Once I've done that, then it should let me go over to notifications. Cool, it does. So we can email in notifications to the administrator and to the message they'd like to receive. So I'm going to send it to these two guys here, to Bo and Dave. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to change the from email. If this is normally select an email field, you drop it down and you go email. By default, it sets up the administrator, which is myself, but we don't really want that to happen. So the from email field, this will make it so that when they hit reply, they can actually reply back to the person who wrote the email. We can insert a subject, request a quote, a home care quote from, and then the from title. This is a short tag for the title of the form so they know where it's coming from. And then down in the message, we're just going to leave it as all fields right now. If you want to format it in a special way, we can. This is a rich text editor. You can put logos in here. You can put tables in here. You can do whatever you want to format it the way you want. For this, it's going to just do the simple layout of field name on the left and value on the right. When we're done, we hit Save Settings. Okay, that is pretty much the overview of how to modify forms. If you go to Entries, you can see ones that have already been put in, so we can actually go to and view the form as it's been filled out. It gives us a nice little layout of what it is. We can add notes to it if we want to, and we can even select Show Empty Fields. There is no empty fields, but if there were, we could show those. Preview button takes us to a preview page, which shows you what the form is going to look like when it's finished. So, new forms, if you were to create a new form, it's exactly the same as editing a form. The only thing you do is you start clicking and dragging things in. So single line, I'm going to make this, say we're going to call it newsletter, email. Oh, actually, hold on a second. We're going to create one for your newsletter. So we're going to call this newsletter sign up. We'd love to hear from you. Please fill out the form. We get to touch it short. So please fill out the form, and we will add you to our mailing list. Okay, so that's done. So we're going to close that. And then what we're going to need in there is we're going to go in advanced field. We want their name, and we want their email. And that's pretty much what we want to do. So I've just very quickly created a form that I'm going to use on the website. Now the last step is how to actually put it on a page. So if I hit save, okay, the first time I create a form, I get this little notification set up asking me would I like to set up notifications, would I like to continue editing. Most times I go straight to the email notifications for this form. And I changed, like I said earlier, the routing of the send to email. So I don't want it to go to the admin email account. I actually wanted to go to the front desk at the WRM. So I think it's at mail@wrm.bc.ca. Oh, sorry, I forgot. It's general. general@wrm.bc.ca. So now when this fills out, it'll send them a notification saying that someone has signed up for this email newsletter. So hit save. That's all done. Now the notifications are set up. Last thing we need to do is put it on a page. So I'm going to go to Pages, and I'm going to pick a page that I want to put it on. I'm going to just throw it on the About page for now. It makes it easier for us to see where it is, and then I'm going to just remove it afterwards. So we're going to go to the bottom of the About page, and if we look at the top here, there's a small little square icon, which is the Forms icon. It says Add Gravity Forms. So I hit Add button, and it'll come up with this dialog box. I want to select the form that I want to add, so I want to add the newsletter sign up. I want to display the title, and I want to display the form description. This Enable Ajax, basically this stops the page from refreshing and going to another page. It does everything within the page and doesn't change it. I like it. It gives it a nice clean look and gives a little spinner icon. So I'm going to put that on. I'm going to insert that form, and it's going to give us that short code like I was showing you when the video first started of the ID of the form, the name of the form, and whether it's using Ajax. Once I hit update, I can now go to the page, and we can see we've got our newsletter down below. So if I fill this out, it will fire off to the general email account, and it will set it all up. That's pretty much how it all works and how to use Gravity Forms.